and welcome to the GE 2019 Souvenir Pictorial from Daily Chaos. I'm Olly Connelly. And as we'll all remember with great sadness, an election had to be called after the much beloved former PM was caught shoplifting at the local chippy. All of her ministers resigned, leaving her cabinet ominously empty. People were worried. Lots of people were worried. Even the dog was worried. And of course, she was sectioned. But the great nation had a new PM, the rambunctiously hairy Boris Johnson, who was voted party leader because it was thought he'd easily win the election as all of his children were registered to vote. And he ran on a policy to impregnate America too, bringing that nation to heel again as a British colony. As we know, his great adversary was Jezadi Corbyn, posing a great challenge when he told Boris's kids that he'd buy them all lollipops. And Nicola Troutfish, who promised to give all the kids an extra set of genitalia. A new kid on the block, Nigel Farage from the Bercow's a Burke party, was initially expected to do well, but he decided to pull out when it turned out he was actually Boris's eldest son. That's Anna Slop Bucket there sat next to him, and she also ran, leading the child catcher party, promising to eat each and every one of Boris's children so the Tories could never again win an election. And not forgetting UKIP, this is their NEC. Missing from the picture is their main donor Bob Gitoff, whose aim it was to spend the entire election sat on the toilet. Oh, and silly me, I nearly forgot Jo Swansong, the woman most hotly tipped to be the next manager of Chicken Cottage in political Gravesend. Lest we forget, and how could we, because she managed to give the entire nation tinnitus. Jo ran on a pledge to execute every kitten in the country if we didn't elect her, either as PM or as the manager of Chicken Cottage. The country now sat back with extra gallons of popcorn to watch events unfold. Oh, what's this? Midst campaign, all attention is diverted to the royal family, where it turns out that Prince Andrew might be Jimmy Savile. And also shock horror, as well as his royal duties, he's been off moonlighting, doing adverts in Dubai for Fergie's new hemorrhoid company. Then there was also something about some chap called Joffrey, a right royal bastard apparently, with lurid details of all sorts of people suffering from hemorrhoids, from Peter Machiavellian to Tony Bloke Regular. And to cap it all, it was said that he kept a diary. That's right, a diary. Yes, Deaf Aid, like I said, apparently he kept a diary. It was definitely a diary, and also it was thought that he had lots of videos. But phew, and gee whiz Batman, close one. Fortunately, Joffrey committed suicide by being shot in the back of the head with a sledgehammer by a mystery prison guard they've still not found, but who was caught on camera leaving the fortunately impregnable facility before being seen jumping into this never again seen getaway vehicle. So at last everyone's attention could be diverted from the fact that the world is full of psycho aliens and get back to the more important business of deciding which one to elect as our new great British PM. Everyone breathed a huge sigh of relief, as you can imagine, except Prince Andrew, who was in any case still right in the shit. Now, back on the campaign trail, Jo Swansong had a spot of bother, caught in a compromising position with the leader of the Preservative Party. She'd made a good fist of her campaign, sure, but this kind of slutty behaviour, right in front of a bunch of undecided voters, all of whom happened to be trainee vicars, was a bit of a no-no, and her polling fell through the floor right as far as Sydney, Australia, which coincidentally might be where she now goes to live out her days, unless she does opt for that job in Chicken Cottage. And then there was Labour, wildly supported not least by the less ruly of Boris's kids, who'd banded together with a bowel movement called More Referendum, but they came unstuck when their future Home Secretary Diane Abacus was caught in odd shoes while out shopping with her carer. This looked really bad. The cool kids would never forgive a party that didn't manage to dress itself properly. It was obvious they could never elect their beloved labia, not when it might be represented by someone that looked like a bag lady. There was widespread upset and people that needed a bath. And then it sank in. Lobotomy had lost. Gisadi waved goodbye and Boris went to see Queenie, who apparently told him that she'd forbade Andrew from having any more lollipops. He assured her in turn that he'd spent the entire campaign working as a milkman and that there would never again be the threat of some silly Marxist turning Buckingham Palace into a food bank. That was the People's General Election 2019, brought to you by Daily Chaos. I'm Olly Connelly.